Yeah, and I just see, I think, a bit of black grass.
I've seen one, which I pulled it out when I was there.
Okay, good.
So.
That's good. Would you like to walk the entire 100-acre field?
I'll give it a go.
Yeah. Yeah, I am doing it. But I'm not going to talk about it. But yeah, it's just for my own amusement. And so that's really entertained you, hasn't it? No, this year, Rodney, we're going to be millionaires. It's 10th of September. Tom's got his new microphone, so hopefully they're going to work okay. And we're just getting on with some repairs. We've got quite a lot of spraying going on. We've done all the pre-em work. We're now on post-em work. So Kieran and Sandy are busy doing that. And they're also getting ready to start doing post-em on the beams as well. And then, so these guys are busy getting the rolls squared up and finished. Glyn's getting washed down. Aaron's cleaning his drill down. Chris is working on the combines with James from class. And we're now currently Gordon's sorting out one or two things and making sure, getting a bit of stock take done as well, trying to fit that in. We've got Dave who's doing the drainage on the store, but also now having to go and sort out a roller shutter door because that's blown out on the grain store, which is a bit of a blow, and means we've got to repair that. And then we've got Chris is on holiday, and I had a VAT inspection, which I've just finished, which we've got sorted on that. So hopefully that's behind me, and we've got RGT coming. So cousin Subsoiler being shot blast, getting ready now for blow down and then a paint. So it's just waiting for them to come back to paint it. See, there's still a bit, I think they've probably got to shot blast some bits there, just where there's some green around the bolts and in the grooves. But it's amazing how sharp it is on your fingers. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing that all green and done. Seed here and here, so got the seed. That's going back into the shed. Those peas are going off back into storage. We've bagged them up. We're not happy with the germination to drill them, so we've got some new seed coming. We're going to get rid of that, and then we've got some sporadic bits of other varieties just around the outside. Just wait and see if everything comes up and it's okay. If not, we're going to have to go and patch some bits in. And then out here we've got the, feels like the never-ending process of doing this yard. But the drainage is going in now, so we're connecting up the down gutters. So he's doing that, so when it rains we're not going to flood it everywhere we're trying to work. So finally getting that done, getting this bit done down this edge here, so we can then concrete between the doors. Simon Pelly was here, and we're looking at whether we build a shed off here, which would be 24 metres wide, 30 metres long. Effectively, the idea is, do we take the door in so that actually that becomes an internal door into the workshop and then leave the personnel door out, or do we come slightly past and make the personnel door as well inside the workshop? At the moment we're thinking about having this as an internal door, so the machinery will be stored in there, the workshop will be in here, so we'll be able to keep the bad weather and things outside and then move between it, not dissimilar to how we have it now. So that's part of the process we're doing. So we'll look to get this sort of concreted in a way, I think, that we can, or we won't concrete this section, sorry, because we're not going to be able to build this shed in the next 2 years, but we'll look at getting it ready so we can make this the workshop and then move the farm to this side eventually, as opposed to having it where it is now. So yeah, a bit of long-term planning going on, and you can only really get it done once right, because otherwise you're ripping up concrete and that's highly expensive. So sometimes it's easy to see when you're in the process, you know, like now, of how it does once you start to get an area cleared and really can appreciate the size of the area and actually how it's going to lay out. So yeah, it's dry, very dry. Look at the soil profile, Tom, if you pan round, you look at the soil profile, you see how dry it is, but you also see the land type. So you can see the topsoil, and it goes down into the subsoil. And I can't tell you how awful the land goes when it gets wet, but it gets proper awkward. Freddie and Raymond are just going through the rolls. So they've welded some supports over here. They found a crack there. They've welded a support in there. And they've cut this out here where it's broken, and they're going to just weld some support. I think Freddie's going to have a look at what Freddie's got. He's got a plan. I'll see what his plan is. But just trying to get them set up. The Raymond will then paint them afterwards, and then we'll put them away. Then they're done. But being 24 metres, you do get a bit of strain in a few places. I think also the way it sort of unfolds and things. So they've done there. You see, they've put a bit of bracing in just on that bar before. So I think the idea is that they're going to do something perhaps a little bit more permanent. That just kept them going. So we're trying to repair some of the belts that go on the front of the combine because they're quite expensive. So where they've got sort of a crack on them, like here, we've done a patch repair. So hopefully that won't interfere when it's running. It won't catch or anything, we'll find out, but I hope it won't catch in here. You know, the fact that's raised. We'll put them back together and see how they run, but any sort of bashes we've got on these, we're just trying to prolong the life a bit longer. And the idea is that it's the edges where they're getting damaged, on the edges on the belts. So yeah, we'll see if that works. So Glyn's here, he's currently getting the sprinter washed. That's the one thing you notice with some of this big machinery. It takes quite a bit of time to clean down. So we're going to get that washed, get some of the pipes repaired, and then get it greased up, make sure there's no issues on any of the hinge points or anything like that, and look for any cracks, get it welded up, again get it all serviced up so it's ready to be put away. Trying to get everything that we've used completely serviced up and done, especially while we've finished early, so that stuff's put away, we can get on with some other jobs then, and not sort of try and drag these things out during the winter to go through. Try and do it now while the weather is nice and conditions of being able to work outside are good, because once you get into sort of January, February time, it's pretty bleak out here to try and do work on pieces of metal like this when the conditions are cold. So yeah, it takes it'll take them all day to wash this machine, I think. So joined here again with Andrew from RGT. We're going to have a quick look at Hexton Field, and I think while I've got him, I'm going to have a look at some Skyfall, which is another one of their varieties, my favourite.
Sounds good.
And we're just having a look. This is obviously now in rows, and you can now get it doesn't matter which way you look, you're starting to get the plant counts. There's actually still, just looking at it, there are some bits where it hasn't quite filled in.
I suspect the rain a week ago is just, the last few are coming through.
Yeah.
But certainly there's a good number here.
As soon as I walked up the field, I saw a miss on an in and out, and it doesn't half knock the spirit out of the day, I can tell you. I don't think there's anything worse for me. I'd rather buy extra seed, as you well know.
Yeah.
But I would have a wastage of land not drilled with blackgrass to grow in it.
That's always the problem. When there's space, something else will appear.
Will appear in it, yeah. Which then you combine, you spread out. Before you know it, we still do autocast oilseed rape, and I can remember 104 acres the other side, and we're talking back in the early 2000s. And we combined it obviously, and I suspect there was these patches of nothing for whatever reason, slugged or whatever. And minimum of 10 years, I could see those patches.
Still
but
there.
They weren't, of course, the size of what they were originally.
No.
They became much bigger, and you could see so we then had this almost 10-year battle to control something, which was actually, I learnt on the back of that you'd been better to have either drilled those patches again or sprayed them out completely.
Go through the pain of losing them.
Yeah, because actually what we developed was this 10-year plan of pain afterwards. But anyway, so we're going to do some plant counts. So we'll get off a tram line,
yes, do that.
So, or an intermediate as we call them. So if we throw down here, we get a bit of a...
somewhere there.
It makes a nice change to walk out on this land without it curling around your boots.
Yeah, well I was saying, do we need wellies? But no, we don't.
No, it's dry as anything. So metre ruler.
So metre ruler, but I always just count from 30 centimetres.
Right.
So like here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's one there, look, 12.
Yeah.
So 13.
Okay.
And I've had a little workout in my book here.
Yeah.
If we're sort of 13, 14, 15, then we're around about 220, 230 plants per metre square.
Right.
So without putting a big quadrat down and counting everything.
Yeah.
So if you just,
But we were hoping, weren't we, for 375, weren't we?
Well, that's how many seeds we planted.
Ah, okay.
But unfortunately, we will always lose some.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but 375 to what did you just say?
what we got here at the moment, I reckon, is about 220.
Okay, we would have put down a maximum of 15% field loss, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
So we're a long way off that at the moment.
We are, but you'll always be less plants than you were seed.
Yeah.
And everything that you sort of read says you need to be topside of 150, and doing what we're doing here, we want to be a long way north of 150. But if we're getting up to, if by Monday this is getting a bit closer to 250,
yeah,
which I think it probably will be,
yeah,
then that's sort of the sweet spot.
Okay.
And then the plant itself, will start to tiller now. I don't think it's not quite at that stage
we
yet.
We are having an effect, aren't we? The pre-em and the residual chemicals are having an effect on germination.
To a point. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why we drill at a reasonable depth.
Yeah.
Just to get the seed down from that
But as you said,
level.
there is stuff just appearing, isn't there? Still.
Like some there. Down here, look. Just
yeah,
coming.
that's almost within the last 2 days.
I would say so.
Yeah, and I just see, I think, a bit of black grass.
I've seen one, and I pulled it out when I was
Okay,
there,
good.
so.
That's good. Yeah. Would you like to walk the entire 100-acre field?
I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
There's one there, look. Just sneaking. I'll use my stick of truth there, look.
So we found that the 48-metre sprayers in the team of 2 and with a Bowser have transformed our spraying ability. You wouldn't think that something like that would make such a difference, but it has made a phenomenal difference.
You can be where you want to be when you want to be there.
We are not behind. I mean, the weather's played a massive part on that, of course, because we haven't had the static.
No.
We are now at the stage where we're running out of water in locations because the conversation this morning Gordon and I had was the water that we're now struggling with.
Not chemical.
Not chemical. No, chemical is readily available as long as I pay the cheque for the bill. It keeps coming.
Yes, water is more tricky.
So this actual crop, having this drilled, I mean, it seems a while ago now, Gordon, we drilled this.
Yeah. About the 20th-ish. No, it was a bit before that in the end, wasn't it?
The 18th we drilled this because it was pre-em on the 20th.
And what are we today? The 10th of October.
Yeah.
So we're establishment-wise, we're actually quite pleased on first hand looking at it. We just did a plant count, and it's perhaps lower than we'd hoped for.
Is it?
But
well, it's around about 220 at the moment, and
we're hoping for 250.
250 would be a nice number.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, the next thing this will do is tiller, and it'll, depending on how thick it is, it'll produce more tillers.
Sometimes, if you don't drill late until end of October, for example, you're going into November, December coming up.
Yes.
And suddenly, before you know it, you've got very catchy weather, haven't you? And very poor opportunities, especially if it's, different between residual or contact. If it's a contact-based spray, what time can you start? How many actual window?
You don't get many hours, do you?
You don't get many hours, do you? Because you might have to stop at, 2 o'clock or something because you're worried about the night coming in, the dark. And, and even if you do push it or whatever, how effective has that control been? I'm accepting, with the nature of drilling early, there will be a proportion of black grass, but I'm more focused at the moment, especially yesterday. I sat with Nick Blake and we were doing cash flows and looking at the state of farming in terms of what's coming in this season and the price. I sold barley yesterday for £145 a tonne. Now, that isn't what we budgeted when we put it in the ground.
No.
Hasn't moved, but there are obligations in fertiliser and chemical sales that we have to make. We've made some earlier sales to pay the rent. Mm-hmm. Now we've got the fertiliser and chemical to pay, so I've sold the barley to effectively settle that. We are cash flow selling, even though we've got the storage facility, as opposed to marketing, but none of us know, do we, whether we're going to be in a position of, is the price going to go to 180? Everything at the moment suggests there is no movement.
No.
But I mean, if I was to pick a season, this has been my favourite.
That's because I was here.
Of course, Gordon, yes. But of course, farmers have what you call short-term memories, don't they? They can only remember 1 year at a time. They can't remember any further apart from 1976, as we've all established.
Your father keeps going on about it.
Yeah, and that's not just him. Well, you were a baby and you were born the same year as me, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly. I was born when the drought broke.
Yeah.
At the end of it.
Yeah, you're like the devil child.
Yeah.
But
That was like a God's gift to farming.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Do you know, when I look down, I can see some hairs of blackgrass.
Yeah, don't look too hard.
No, so I'm rather hoping that this post end we've just put on has some contact.
Well, that's why Henry said we need to do this field today and don't leave it till Monday. And then we've dropped a field of barley out. Blackthorns is dropped till Monday because that's a little bit further behind. So we get this.
Yeah.
He wanted to
and Henry's doing a good job, isn't he? He's getting round.
He's done some miles on that quad bike recently. He's been everywhere.
Yeah.
Loads of phone calls about there's a quad bike roaring around. So.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, of course, yeah. They just think it's a bandit.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. He's got that bandit look, hasn't he? Yeah. Right. So we just come. This is where Chris is backed up to start off again, and effectively double drilled, and then whatever reason, this is not clever, and we're a bit worried whether because he's run over it with the drill. Whether it's compacted.
Got the press wheels on the front, so he's ran over it. Then you can see
drill back in. What we're worried about, whether or not what happened here, because it goes again okay over there. If actually this is drilled shallower, and the pre-em has nipped it up.
Yeah, which is
That's
possible.
Because when you just dug down a second ago, it was literally on the top, wasn't it? It was, so we're a bit worried whether that. We're going to check to see what that looks like, because you're still optimistic that it hasn't come. I'm feeling less optimistic. It looks like a helicopter pad.
And I think the plants that we see there at the moment will do more than you think.
Okay.
So you're going to mark that with white canes, and that.
No, we won't need to mark it. We can,
Unfortunately,
we can see it.
Next harvest, we want to know if it yields.
Yeah. And then this is a double drill. So you just measured this.
Gone over this bit.
yeah.
So that you got 37 when you got 15 over there, plants over 30 centimetres on one row.
Yes.
So in quick maths, that is it at the moment. That's going to be about 600 plants per metre squared.
Yep.
Based on the other maths. So my question is, if it's a limitation of moisture, why then is that all grown so well? Is the limitation moisture, or is the limitation the number of seeds we're putting down as a seed rate? Because I look at that and think that looks fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, and ultimately, a crop that ends up too thick, you're then battling disease a lot more. Lodging. All right, you smother the ground, so herbicide and grass weed control is probably better.
It will be interesting to compare this, Andrew, these patches, in terms of blackgrass establishment, and yes, a good point about the lodging. Yeah. But actually, is the limitation the seed rate? Is what I think we're going to be able to see in these areas here. Chris will be very pleased with himself now. He'll say that we've helped
He's
helped me conduct a trial.
We want a bonus from Agri.
That's it. Yeah. So just thinking about drilling dates, is there's a sprayer coming, which is big focus, etc. And obviously we've got dry times at the moment, so we've got this sort of difference in germination time, haven't we? Which is by default is, it's coming up later. The control of the blackgrass, and how long would you have to wait in a dry time, because the date almost becomes immaterial, surely, because the fact you might say, I'm going to drill in October, but if it hasn't rained, you've almost got to wait for the rain to come to have the flushes more so than the date. And there's got to be a trade-off between establishment and the size of the plant and the effectiveness of this pre-em and this post-em we're putting on. There can't just be, you've got to drill after the 20th of October or the 1st of November, or whatever the chosen date is. And I've been thinking a lot about this, and we know from experience the heaviness of this Hanslope Series clay. There is just a chance we just won't get on. So if you look here, this curve, we looked at this when we stood here and it was all just coming up and it was pinched, but look at the establishment now of that. And that's what's amazing, is that the establishment, when you go down the row, is actually really quite impressive.
It's all there.
And I'm amazed looking at that, Gordon, how that feels like that's filling in.
Yeah. This is Caravel barley.
I was going to say that we're now looking at barley, not
Yeah, we
wheat,
are looking
which,
at barley,
which has a
yeah.
slightly different look
Yeah.
to it,
Yeah,
yeah.
but even so.
And this is the second field we drilled of the season with the Avatar. Yeah.
And I remember when it was drilled, I came in here and I went, whoa, 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 whoa. And it's just getting better. I have to keep coming to look at it because I'm just surprised how much better it looks. I don't know whether it's just the way it sort of comes out the ground like that, you know.
It looks thick up the road, doesn't it? When you
It does,
stand
yeah,
up the road,
yeah.
It looks thick
Yeah.
up the road.
And
Yeah.
that's 25
25 centimetre, yeah.
Which, as you look up there now, it
Look
looks a
at
bit
it.
stark to begin with, I'm sure, but now it doesn't look like 25.
No, it's amazing how it is. If you just pan round, Tom, if you look up going into the hill, because it gives, you know, looking
It gives
into
you
the
a
hill
real
always
look,
gives you a different view.
Yeah.
You can sort of see how that is bushing out. But I mean, it'd be interesting to follow the profitability of some of these crops, you know, right through the harvest. I'm rather hoping when we're sitting on the combine, there is no better feeling than having a big crop. And, you know, logistics are straining because it's a big crop.
Because it's coming out.
Then
yeah.
you feel like a proper farmer. You just got to look past the black grass, but you look like a proper farmer. So we just walked over to just have a look where the Certo ran. Same variety,
Same date.
same day, and you know, is where the Avatar just was. And actually, Gordon, this is a lot thicker.
Yep.
There is a lot more plants here, it feels like, you know, looking at this.
If you look up the road, Tom, you can see it.
You see up the row, but it looks messier. The Avatar looks,
There's something quite...
is it because it's almost like a precision drill?
It's like precision
I
drilled
think,
sugar beet, doesn't it?
yeah, and it's got that sort of presentation.
And the wider row sort of makes your mind
Yes.
think that.
Maybe
doesn't
it's just a visual, maybe it's just entirely visual, as you rightly say.
it? So different.
Right, so this is sprinter drilled, same day, same variety,
Yep, same seed rate.
same seed rate, and yet chemical damage.
Yep.
A lot of chemical damage on here,
Just see it nipped up, and a lot. You know, you see a lot of big plants, but the small plants just coming through.
but quite bleached, isn't it?
Yep.
But the difference in the colour on the same day,
Same
just
day.
different drill.
Yep.
Well, I've got 3 drills here in a row, and if you were to pick them, you wouldn't pick this.
No, you wouldn't. This won't sell we wouldn't sell a sprinter on this.
No, but the Certo looked the best in a sense, but the Avatar in that sort of precision drill is smart, isn't it?
It looks very smart, absolutely.
And then this looks sick.
It does.
I mean, if it got the right rain, as you rightly say, I bet it would look completely different.
It will come back. And
Yeah.
I don't think there's a problem with it.
But then that's always been the Sprinter.
Yep.
Always comes up lumpy,
Yeah.
and then suddenly it gets going. But it walks well.
True.
You know, the others don't walk like this, do they? They're not. They're solid.
Yeah,
This,
a bit more movement.
this
You
is
can tell
this,
this has been moved.
yeah. This is
Sprinter moves the whole.
profile,
You know,
but it walks nicer.
it does.
But it'd be interesting to see once it's had a month of rain on it, etc. What colour it comes back to, and
Get some rain and kick the warm days.
because I'm wondering if the disc drills, you know, are going to get pinched in the roots, not going to quite have the same ability as this will do.
Because it's running where the disc line has just
Yeah.
cut a slot,
Yeah.
whereas this, we've had the
It's
5-inch,
it go anywhere.
The 5-inch Dutch openers have opened the soil up, so there's no restriction for the root to go down, perhaps.
Yeah.
James from Manns is here today, carrying on with the MaxiCare annual service of all the combines. Chris is here working with him, going through them. Chris is progressing up from driving a chaser bin. He'll take on driving number 2 combine next year. So he's spending some time with James, helping do the work, and then learning all about the combines, so that it hopefully makes him a better operator for next year, because he knows how to look after them and maintain them. So this is number 1 now. They've finished number 2 and number 3 combines are done. So number 1, and then we go at the back of the shed and get number 4 out, and then we can put them all away, and somebody can win a bet, and we'll see who that's going to be, hopefully next week. Okay, so we've still got a number of items that we need to find new homes for. Firstly, we've got the McConnell hedge cutter head, the knife section on it for cutting hedges very tidily. This is brand new, never been used, was bought, been sat on a pallet here for 3 years. So we'd like the best part of £4,000 for that, because that's what one would be new, but it's a fairly unique and special item. Here we've got a canopy off a Toyota Hilux double cab, sliding windows, locking rear door, and we've got all the clamps and everything to fit it. We took it off because of fuel tanks in back of trucks. We didn't need a canopy fitted to it. Then we've still got over here, we've got there is a total of 10 Gregor Besson plough legs. You see, as they are, they're all ready to go. They're all in good condition. They're all straight. They're just bought off a plough. They're off a plough we cannibalised, and we've used the beam for something else, but we've got spare legs left over. At the back here, we've got Vibraflex spring units with heavy-duty legs on them. That was a modification that was in our subsoiler that we've now removed and don't need to use anymore. This item here is brand new and pretty special, and we're not really sure how we've got it, but anyway, it's a JCB headstock, but it's an adapter plate for picking up John Deere combine headers with a fixing bolt to fix them on. So we don't have John Deere combines or John Deere headers, but for some reason we have an adapter plate so you can move John Deere headers with a JCB. But a great heavy item that somebody could modify and use to do something else with, I'm sure. Moving across, we've still got the Great Plains Simba legs that came out of our subsoiler that we've modified. We don't need these legs anymore. We've still got a number of parts for Grange toolbars, leg tops, leg bottoms. We've got a number of top links and various 1 or 2 PTO bits left that we still need to try and find homes for Fendt tractors. Here, Tom, we've got a number of electric fencing units. In previous times, James had serious problems with rabbits and had a lot of electric fence. Rabbits are now controlled by other methods. We don't need electric fencing, so there's all these electric fencing units. They all work, as far as we know, and are all in good condition and all operational. So there's some electric fencing for somebody whose uses. We've still got the forestry guards off the bottom of a 550/80 JCB telescopic. Got a couple of bits off a Grimmy potato harvester, toolbox. Still got one Muller joystick that we used on our trailed sprayers. It's all operational, ready to go. Two people have already purchased the other 2, there's one still to go. Some hooks off the back of crawler lifting frames, various nuts and bolts, lots of different sorts, Dowswell plough metal, rotavator. We think they're off the Dowswell Powervators that was here on the potato operation to go. A box of random John Deere filters and stuff, and then just here where you are, Tom, 2 Fendt Cat 3 drawbars, but heavy duty ones because they're the 90mm box, a box of various Cat 3, Cat 2 top link balls and lower link balls, and here we've got just the 5 filters that are left over from when we had the 780 combines. So there's 2 hydraulic filters and 3 fuel filters from the 780 Lexion combines. So that's where we've got, and then we keep finding more stuff. I'm sure there'll be some more stuff to add to it as we go on. So if people would like to, they can either ring the office or email the media at pxfarms.com email address, and then it'll get forwarded to me. And then if you send your phone number, I'll give you a ring, and I can send you videos directly if there's anything particularly you want, or more photographs, and then we can get them with various stuff has gone and people are coming in. And if you come and collect, if you're lucky, you get a nice little tour around the farm at the same time to help the sale.
So Emily wants to learn how to fly the drone, so we got the drone for her so she can practice in the garden how to fly it and whatever, because she's quite interestingly, in what the media side does, which I think is fascinating, really. But where the interests lay in farming, I mean, mine was a very typical interest in the sense that I love tractors and growing crops, whereas the Matilda and Amelia, for example, have a very different interest. Actually, Natasha's fascinated with tractors, but Matilda and Amelia, for example, is interested in what the media's doing. She liked the shows that we went to and drones and things. So it's quite interesting where the sparks of interest are within the children. Anyway, so interesting day today. So tomorrow I'm going off to have an exciting lesson, what I've chosen to do, but yeah, I am doing it. But I'm not going to talk about it. But yeah, it's just for my own amusement. And so that's really entertained you, hasn't it? But anyway, so thanks ever so much, everybody, for continuing to subscribe and support the channel, etc. And the guys are having the weekend off, so apart from Simon's got to service the forklift, but to keep the grain store running. But yeah, so it's we're in a really good place, actually. I think we're in a good place, and it feels nice to be boss of the job. It's a great feeling of actually being on top of what we're doing. So see what next week brings. All the best. Bye bye.